without a home. A house explosion leaves 2 dead and many without a home. And how will the San Gabriel Valley vote? Our election coverage heads into the home stretch with Democrat and Republican activists live in studio. All this and CCN weather on Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood.
Business idea? The Pasadena Enterprise Zone can help. The Pasadena Enterprise Zone, open for business.
We provide the free loan of durable medical equipment, of hospital beds, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and many other items. Your donations and contributions are welcome and greatly appreciated. We are located at 3255 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena.
We're here to help you!
Please give us a call and check for availability at 626-793-1696.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching CCN Crown City News, your neighborhood. I'm Sunita Joshua Madison. Our top story, what started out as a routine house fire investigation landed a man in custody for arson. CCN's Paulo Alejandria has the story.
Preliminary investigation reveals that there was an accelerant used, and that was confirmed by the arson investigator.
This home on the 1300 block of El Sereno Avenue exploded in a dramatic burst of flames sometime after 2 a.m. Friday morning, resulting in the deaths of 2 residents and another resident said to be in serious condition. According to neighbors, the house, which may have been a sober living home for recovering alcoholics, was home to at least 20 residents, all said to be elderly. Police arrested Garth Robbins, a tenant at the now charred home, just hours after the fire broke out. Police say Robbins was arrested at an undisclosed local restaurant without incident. Neighbors we spoke to say Robbins and the rest of the tenants were very quiet and kept to themselves. Police did not release details or motive for the fire pending their investigation. Curious neighbors like Patrick Booker say the misuse of pesticides are to blame for the fire.
It started like some foggers, some crazy white guy was in there and he like set off the foggers at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I guess he left. And I guess he didn't know what was going to happen, and so the house blew up.
In Pasadena, Paulo Alejandria, CCN.
Perry Simmons, age 65, was the resident seriously injured in Friday morning's fire. We have reports that the boarding house was unlicensed and the damages resulting from the fire are estimated to be at $1.35 million. Lieutenant Tracy Ibarra, Public Information Officer for the Pasadena Police Department, says the Red Cross in Pasadena's Department of Human Services assisted survivors of Friday morning's blaze. Survivors were housed at a local motel until arrangements could be made for their permanent housing. Lieutenant Ibarra adds the suspect, Garth Robbins, will be arraigned in Pasadena Superior Court tomorrow afternoon. And here are some snapshots of stories you may have missed this past week right here in the San Gabriel Valley. Multiple shots were fired at a car in Pasadena on Tuesday, leaving 1 victim hit. The shooting happened near Sunset Avenue and Washington Boulevard. Witnesses say 2 men shooting at a passing car. While officers were investigating the incident, they were alerted that a man with a gunshot wound to the hand arrived at a local hospital. The victim was uncooperative with authorities. Officials say that the shooting is unrelated to an incident on October 20th in which 2 men were shot in a drive-by shooting in Altadena. The name of the victim has not been released and the investigation is ongoing. If you have any information, please call the Pasadena Police Department dispatch at 626-744-4241, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or go on their website at crimestoppers.org. TV star Vanessa Williams is coming to the Pasadena Playhouse. Williams has been cast in Lynn Notage's play Intimate Apparel. The former Melrose Place star, not the Desperate Housewives star, will play Esther, a middle-aged black seamstress who teaches herself to sew lingerie for a living and finds love with a Caribbean man, George. Intimate Apparel opens tomorrow at 8 p.m. at the Pasadena Playhouse and runs through December 2nd. For tickets, go to pasadenaplayhouse.org. Well, Hurricane Sandy devastated the East Coast, and we all know friends and family there. It's going to take a long time for many of them to recover. If you would like to contribute to help in the aftermath of the storm, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has a contact link for donations. Please visit the FEMA website at FEMA.gov and click on the How to Help button under the Hurricane Sandy picture on the left column. Donation information is provided under the Volunteer and Donate Responsibly section. You can also contact the Jewish Federation of the San Gabriel Valley and Pomona Valley locally to donate to their relief fund. Well, the heat continues as voters head to the polls. CCN's meteorologist has the election day weather and beyond. That plus San Gabriel Valley activists are still sweating the phones to elect their candidate. We'll be right back on CCN, your news, your neighborhood.
The CCN Energy Saver is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
Dave, what are some other ways customers can save energy?
Well, I certainly want to make sure that they use energy efficiently and wisely. One of the things that we recommend doing is turning off equipment when they're not using it. That's probably the most easiest and most efficient way of reducing their energy costs. But purchasing equipment that has, again, I say the Energy Star rating on it. We want to make sure that they use thermostats that are programmable, because that helps customers reduce operating costs by having the equipment come on at the desired setting as well as the desired times. Weatherization, plugging up gaps in your walls or door seals, making sure that you don't have any air leaks.
Well, thank you for that information, Dave. Hopefully customers find it helpful. This has been Luna Petty with your CCN Energy Saver.
The CCN Energy Saver is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
We're back. Voters have felt the heat during the long election season, and they're going to continue to feel it as they head to the polls in almost 90-degree weather to cast their vote. Let's check in with CCN meteorologist Curtis Peak to see what's in this week's weather has in store for us. Hi, Curtis. So there is so much in the air this week that's going to be changing. Are we going to get any surprises in the forecast?
I think we are going to see surprises in the forecast. So we're dealing with right now, we have bookends. We have above normal temperatures right now. We're going to get a mixture of things in the middle. And then by the weekend, we are going to see temperatures get back to normal. Hey, downtown LA today, we did tie the record at 94 degrees. We did not break it, but there are a few parts in Southern California that did break the record. But right here in the San Gabriel Valley, we had an absolutely gorgeous day. So everybody, please get out to vote tomorrow. It's going to be another warm day, but we are going to see changes on the way. As we take a look at our satellite radar right now, as we see, we do have the Pacific storm. That's what's going to sink down probably by Thursday and Friday. That's going to be our best chance of moisture by the week. So we are seeing an offshore flow right now. The humidity is very, very low, but we are going to see those winds begin to pick up a little bit. So we do have a chance of fire danger. The National Weather Service has issued a fire warning, so be careful out there. You know, if you are driving, no cigarette butts, no fires in your backyard right now, because things are very, very dry. All right, as we take a look at our almanac right now, as we can see, we are having above normal temperatures. Our high today was 96 degrees. Normally we are 82 degrees. We are way above where we should be. The record back in 2003 was 99 degrees. Our low tonight is going to be 59 degrees. Normally we should be around 41 degrees. But as I said earlier, we are going to see that chance, possible rain by Thursday and Friday. But as I said, here's our bookends: above normal, back to normal. That's what we're going to have happen for this week. All right, as we take a look at what's happening outside right now, 75 degrees, winds out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour. Our sunrise tomorrow is going to be at 6:17. Look how early that sun is setting. Since we did fall back on Sunday night, we are getting those sunsets way earlier than we normally did, an hour earlier than we did last week. The sunset is going to be at 4:55 tomorrow afternoon. Here's our overnight lows right now. We have 61 in Pasadena. We have 61 in Monterey Park and Alhambra, and Glendale and El Monte and West Covina, both, all three, I should say, is coming in at 59 degrees. Monrovia, you're going to come in at 58 degrees. Here's our highs for tomorrow. Pasadena, we are coming in at 89 degrees. 88 and 89 across the board. Depends on where you are. Glendale, 88 degrees. Alhambra and Monterey Park, 88 degrees. Now, here's the 7-day forecast that we were talking about. Here is what we're saying tomorrow. We are going to see temperatures begin to cool off a little bit tomorrow. We are going to have 89 degrees. But look at Wednesday. We do begin to see that onshore flow. The onshore flow is going to give us some clouds that are going to come in on Wednesday. Thursday, here we are for Friday, 65 degrees on Friday. This is kind of where we should be. This is going to be below normal temperatures, but it's going to be better than what we are seeing, these 14 degrees above normal temperatures. But we have a chance of rain on Friday and Saturday. And as we see back in Sunday, we are going to be at to 71 degrees. Now Monday, this is where we should be, around 74 degrees. But the big news is look where we are going to be on Sunday night, 44 degrees. Things are going to begin to cool off a bit. So if you are going out tomorrow, it's still going to be a beautiful day. Please get out there and vote, no matter who you vote for. Exercise your right, get out there in the beautiful weather and vote. All right, Sadita, back to you.
Well, thanks for that, Curtis, and absolutely it's perfect weather for voting. Well, what seems like an endless election cycle is finally coming to a close tomorrow. CCN's Lily Nuno caught up with both residents and activists trying to elect their candidates in the final hours.
The countdown for Election Day is on, and devoted volunteers in Pasadena have come together to help their candidate make it to the finish line. Activist Cesar Montoya from the Pasadena Republican headquarters says sending emails and making last-minute calls to swing voters can make all the difference.
A couple of hours after work, or if they're not working, I mean, people are dedicated, and the response we've been getting is great. I mean, some people come in just on Saturdays when they're off of work, and they call Ohio, and they tell me, wow, for every Obama supporter, I get 4 Romney supporters.
Democratic volunteers have seized the final hours to make phone calls as well. Intern Zuhey Espinoza has been targeting swing states like Colorado and Nevada, yet she has no doubt of an Obama win.
I hope that Obama will win, and in fact I feel that based on the data that is currently present, Obama will win. Not only the popular vote, but the electoral vote.
It will come down to 9 swing states for President Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, with Ohio being called the state that will decide who wins the White House. Lynn Veiling, a swing voter, is someone who candidates hope will change their mind last minute.
I'm a registered Democrat. The last election and this election, I'm voting Republican. I do not believe in integrity and vision, the agenda laid out by our current President Obama.
And still, candidates hope to persuade Americans like Brandon Bradshaw, who say they may not vote at all.
I don't believe in either parts of the party, so better for you at some point vote for either side of the party.
Volunteers at the Democratic and Republican headquarters will continue to make calls till Tuesday at 8 p.m. In Pasadena, I'm Lily Nuno, CCN.
Well, thanks for that, Lily. And if you want to find out where your polling place is, log on to the Los Angeles County Registrar's Office website at lavote.net. Remember, it's not just about voting for a party. There are a number of props, measures, and other candidates on the ballot, so there is plenty of reason to get out there and vote tomorrow. Have we said that enough? And we're going to continue saying it. We're sweating the issues heading into the final hours before the big vote. With our special election edition, we have Republican consultant Louis Alvarado and Occupy Democracy Pasadena's Patrick Briggs live in studio to shed some light. Next on CCN Crown City News, your neighborhood. We'll be right back.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. Now, we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until they're no secret that laughter makes you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this dangerous, but it will be safe until they are returned.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Well, the election is tomorrow and the polls are all over the place. Some put President Obama ahead and others have Mitt Romney taking it all. And what about all those propositions? Here live in studio to tell us what they think will happen tomorrow in the San Gabriel Valley, the state, and the nation is Republican consultant Louis Alvarado and Occupy Democracy Pasadena's Patrick Briggs. Now, Louis is on his way in, but Patrick, you were here with us, and so I just wanted to start with you. Are you making any predictions? Are you a betting man?
You know, I'm going to make a prediction that Obama will win the election. I think that what's uncertain is whether the Congress will change hands and become Democratic controlled or not. And I think the U.S. Senate will remain in Democratic Party control.
Okay. Well, now, why do you think at the presidential level, we'll get to Senate races, why do you think it's been this close, though?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I think one of the things that you've seen over the last 4 years, and particularly with the Tea Party, is that there's a real strong racial element to the dislike that some Americans have with our president, and I think that that's the only thing that really keeps it this close. I think that there's this sense of that started with the Nixon Southern strategy and continued with Reagan when he ran. This idea that they're going to take advantage of white Americans' fear that black African Americans are going to take something from them. And so I think that's why it's this close. Otherwise, this would be a blowout election.
Well, speaking of that, Paul Ryan made a remark to evangelical Christians saying that Obama would threaten Judeo-Christian and Western values. Do you think that's just, perpetuating the whole birther myth that he's a Muslim and that he was born in Kenya? Is that what that's all about?
I think it's that, but I think that there is this sense within the conservative circles in this country and in the Republican Party where fundamentalism has sort of taken control of their party. Republicans haven't always been this way. And I think that really it's just about being afraid of the diversity which this country is becoming. We are much more diverse. We have so many more people from Latin America, Mexico in this country that are contributing part of their lives to this country and making it a better place to be. And I think that the African American population in this country is just feared by Republicans, and it's really silly.
Okay. Well, speaking about the African American community, because I think they really helped kind of inspire Obama in the first election, and really helped him get elected. There was so much enthusiasm, and that's really waned in the past. In this election, do you think they've done enough to get their support up in the African American community?
I think so. I think that really what why things are as tight as they are is because there is sort of a sense, I'm speaking more from the liberal side of the political persuasion, but there is a sense of letdown, a sense that we didn't get as much as we had hoped for, and that change. But when you're really in a balance, and this is a pivotal election, in a balance, what we've gotten out of our president in the last 4 years is he saved the economy from going under, the world economy. He's saved our auto industry. He's gotten women equal pay for what they're doing with the Lilly Ledbetter Act. He's removed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. There's so many things that this president has accomplished despite a hostile Republican Congress and blue dog Democrats that don't support the liberal agenda that I believe in.
Okay. Well, we do have Luis Alvarado. He made it in. We thank you so much for rushing to get here. I know there's so much going on with all this election stuff, but let's talk about Mitt Romney a little bit. You know, maybe just a little bit over a month ago, it wasn't quite sure, you know, where he was going to be. There wasn't a lot of excitement, but do you think that first debate really just, you know, set the tone for this last month?
Absolutely. Barack Obama spent $300 million during the summer completely attacking his character, which was unprecedented, first of all, because he was supposed to be the hope and change. I'm above all kinds of these dirty politics. And then, lo and behold, because he knows he has a bad record, he had to do something to knock off his opponent. And in his first debate, it all went kaput. Basically, people realized that Mitt Romney was a real good-hearted person who really loves his country and really wants to do what's best for our future. And the reality is that, you know, when Barack Obama doesn't have a record to run on, and I understand the liberal side of the wing of the Democratic Party is happy, and to a certain degree, because he still didn't go all the way, that those were not the issues that America care about. They care about jobs and the economy. And when it comes to that, the bottom line, the end sum, it's a failed government. When it comes to 23 million people still unemployed, 7.9% unemployment, and we don't see a clear path to finding the solutions, all we got from Barack Obama was a train of excuses. Okay. And Mitt Romney now seems like a real candidate that actually has the capacity to deliver what this country actually cares and needs. Okay.
Now, Patrick, you had listed off some of the things that you're excited about Barack Obama and his administration, you know, as far as passing. But do you think it has been enough, you know, in these past 4 years? As Luis is talking about, are those things enough to address our major needs?
I wouldn't put it in such black and white terms, and I think that's the limitation of the Republican Party and Republicans in general. They like to see things in black and white. And from a liberal and Democratic Party perspective, we're aware that we come up short in some areas. Just like there's some things that didn't get done that needed to be done, but this president saved our economy. He saved the auto industry. We had to clean up the mess of 8 years of George Bush, which we cannot forget that. It's vitally important that we remember our history in this country, and in this case, that economy was wrecked by a Republican policy of tax cuts for the wealthy, 2 wars, and a prescription drug plan that just blew a hole in the deficit. So if you look at it from that perspective, President Barack Obama has done a fantastic job of holding the line against this country collapsing economically. Okay.
Well, let's just talk about some of the target voters that both candidates have been going after. You know, we've been hearing about the binders of women and minorities and Mormons, you know, in all different areas of who they're going after. But what about men? You know, you both are here. Do you think that's kind of been the demographic that they aren't going after? In fact, you know, it seems like Obama has lost some support with men. Is it going to come down to men? I'm going to start with you, Louis.
Well, you know, about 4 months ago, we learned that the campaign for Barack Obama gave up on white men. He says, we're just not going to talk to them. We're not going to do anything to get their approval. You know, their focus group said that, you know, we have to concentrate on minorities. We want to make sure that Latinos and African Americans come out to vote, hopefully at least close to the record levels of 28. But you know, but I have to fall back to the record. You know, I think the Obama campaign would love to blame it back on 4 years of Bush, but what we're talking about is the American people that are suffering. You know, there's 23 million people suffering. and we hear that he saved the economy, but we gave him a big fat check of the stimulus package that he promised we should be at 5.4% unemployment with that package. And in this next 4 years, we're not going to have a package where we're going to have a sequestration where we have to cut $600 billion for the economy. And how can we square that peg? How can we say we can fix the economy when we have so much concentration on the liberal policies? You know, for the people who are suffering,
But
you
now-
know, the don't ask, don't tell doesn't help them.
Now you said that that Obama has basically written off men, is what you were saying, and Mitt Romney had that statement that kind of bit him in the butt with the 47% that he'd kind of written off. I mean,
No, he didn't write it off. On the contrary, if you really look at that tape, he's talking about strategy. He's talking about they have 47% of the people of the base that are going to vote for Barack Obama regardless of what he does, of his failed policies. I have 47% base. They're going to vote for conservative. And then I'm going to concentrate in the middle, which are the independents. And that's what he was specifically talking about. He wasn't writing anybody off. He was talking about campaign strategy.
okay. And what do you think about that, Patrick?
That's completely and totally ridiculous. What Mitt Romney said was something that he thought no one else would see, and that was that he thinks that anybody that benefits from the government in any kind of way is a freeloader. And that includes people in the military, that includes people on Social Security where they earned that money, people on Medicare, they earned the right for that. This is part of our government that we set up and made for ourselves to make this country a better place to be. So he wrote off half the country, and there's no denying it.
Okay.
But it goes the same to the videotape of Obama when he said, I can't lodge those Bible-carrying, gun-carrying Republicans, conservatives. I can't talk to them, so it was in the same context. Let's be fair here.
Okay. Well, so let's think about tomorrow, or
Sure.
actually Wednesday.
A few more hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's very nerve-wracking because I don't think anyone can really predict at this point. I asked Patrick, if he thought he knew which way it was go. Would you say the same thing? Would you say you could predict who was going to be president on Wednesday?
I don't think truly that's the difference in 2008, right? Everybody pretty much knew it was going to be Barack Obama. Here we don't, because really, there's two things going. First of all, Barack Obama has a little bit of advantage when it comes with early voting, and the polls have told us that. But I think the Republicans and Mitt Romney has an advantage when it comes to the enthusiasm. There's great apathy within the Democratic Party. I was looking at TV of the lines of people. Some people are waiting 3-4 hours in line. I didn't see any Latino, or for Ohio, I didn't see any African American that looked under the age of 35 standing in line, and I think that's going to be a big difference.
Now, where were you seeing this? Because you're not in Ohio.
No, I was watching it on TV
okay,
News. I was watching on TV News, all those people in line. And the question is, who's going to be able to stand in line for so long and really be committed to their vote when there's apathy in the Democratic side? That's what we're counting on.
Let's just ask, for both of you, are you kind of excited that there are long lines for the polls even before Election Day?
I'm actually, speaking from my perspective on the liberal side of things, the reason there are long lines is because Republicans in this country repeatedly, in every single state that there are Republican governors or state election people, have made it more difficult for Americans to vote. Now, this is not the Republican Party that my wife and my parents' generation believed in. This is a Republican Party that's gone off the deep end, a Tea Party group that wants to restrict voting to white, older people and take out African American and Hispanic people from the equation, and older people who are too frail to go to the polls. And it really upsets me that the Republicans don't believe in this country's democratic process.
Now, Louis, I'd like you to answer that quickly, but we are going to wrap up, so really quickly.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to respond to that, because the reality is, I think nobody's demonstrated more love of this country and what this country stands for than the Republican Party. I think when you start talking about socialism and stuff like that.
Well, I thank you both, Louis Alvarado and Patrick Briggs, for being here, but I think we have people on all sides very dedicated to this country. That's it for this newscast. Please check out Crown City News for any additional stories and news tips. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Please remember to vote tomorrow. No matter what party you vote for, there are a lot of propositions and candidates on the ballot that matter to all of us. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including Southern California Edison, Wink Marketing, the Pasadena Enterprise Center office building with available space, and Dr. Fareed Zarif. Thanks also to the CCN crew. They make this show possible. And finally, we thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Join us each week as we cover the news in Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley. For all of us here at CCN, I'm Sunita Joshua Madison. Have a great week and have a good vote. Well, I thank you both for coming here.